we Imperial Triumphant presents very, very posh, very clean and shiny, and then our music is just rotten to the core.
So I'm here with Zachary Ezrin of the Goldstar Standard Imperial Triumphant. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Tristan. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. All the more, better for seeing you. What's it been like 2 years maybe since we last saw each other?
To the day.
I mean, obviously we're here again to talk about a brand new, fantastic Imperial Triumphant record. Congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
I think you've created the impossible because this might be an accessible Imperial Triumphant record.
That was the challenge, and I think we got it. I think we understood the assignment. I'm pretty happy with it, I gotta say.
One of the things I was going to ask is, was it was it really difficult to be able to kind of distill the overall feeling of the band in, tracks which are basically essentially under 5 minutes?
Not really. You just have to cut the fat, you know?
Mhm.
You gotta just say, okay, this is good. Is it worth keeping? And I think that's what makes this record just so lean and strong is that there's nothing in there that doesn't absolutely have to be there because there's no room for anything else.
Yeah, man. Is it would you say the shortest Imperial Triumphant record to date?
Probably, man. I mean,
Yeah.
we know it's it was more just it's not about the overall length. Actually, you know what? I take that back. It is about the overall length. We wanted to make a record that was a single vinyl. That was important to us. We want to make sure that people that buy the record can afford the record,
Yeah.
and if for that to be the case, it needs to be one vinyl
Mhm.
because once you get two vinyls, the price for us goes up, and then it goes up. It just becomes a much more expensive thing, and so it's good to keep it under like 45 minutes if you can. In the
Yeah.
world of avant-garde or whatever you want to call it, extreme, weird experimental metal, I think when you get past the 1 hour mark, it's intimidating to tackle as a listener. When you look at a track and it says it's 10 minutes long, it's intimidating to tackle as a listener. Even though it could all be great. There's lots of songs that are 10 minutes long that are great, but I just think it was just an idea, a challenge, and just to see, hey, can we do this?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So what talking about Goldstar, what are some of the themes that are explored on this record?
I mean, mostly just like sort of like British cuisine, like British Parliament, sort of like British naval history. No, I'm just joking.
I was like, hang on a minute.
It's
What
just
a
like,
minute.
well, because you're in England, I want you to like it. Basically, each song is about a different fish and chips restaurant.
In London.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each song's the name of a different pub that doesn't exist.
There you go. 10 out of 10.
No, I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of themes, but obviously New York remains the center focus.
Yeah.
The overall concept for this record, like the last record, we were all like about cars, American mid-century cars. Like that's the vibe. And this one, I think we were going for more like 50s, 60s cigarette advertisements. I think that's really, really interesting, and it kind of fits with the Imperial Triumphant. It's a old cigarette ads are like so glamorous and sexy, and it's a product that will rot you out and ultimately murder you. And I feel like that's very much a great way to describe our death metal. We Imperial Triumphant presents very, very posh, very clean and shiny, and then our music is just rotten to the core, and it will kill you as well.
That's cool though. I mean, like that's pretty specific, like this cigarette ad sort of vibe. Why did you kind of focus on that?
I don't know. It's why do anything, Tristan?
I'm
like
like I'm like a
I'll tell you
5-year-old.
why I did it because nobody else did it. That's why. In a sea, no, an ocean of bands singing about the devil and politics and mental health and violence and more devil stuff and more blood and war. We're looking into cigarette commercials. But I think it's a unique concept. I think it's something that is dark and compelling, which is all the things I just named, those all reside under the umbrella of darkness.
Mhm.
And I think no matter what kind of metal you like, if you like metal, there there's something in there that's pulling you. Like there's some sort of dark, compelling nature to it. There's
Yeah.
no happy lyrics with metal. It's not. It's just not meant to be.
Do you know what's interesting? Because I always find myself fascinated with how you guys can kind of, go into another layer about New York and still make it engaging, still make it interesting. Like, what's your secret?
Keep an open mind. Try to explore the world of art and culture, and let it come to you. Don't force it. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. At the same, like I think us putting this 5 minute, you know, bracket on ourselves, these boundaries. We had to record the album in 5 days. That's a boundary. It makes it harder, but it pushes you out of your comfort zone. And you have to like think faster and more creatively. And that's like when an artist sometimes can find something they would normally not.
Mhm. It's like under that sort of pressure kind of thing.
Yeah, I think artists need a little bit of pressure. I really feel like a lot of the best art uh, is not never over labored.
I can imagine that it was incredibly difficult to get all of these tracks done in 5 days, man.
You'd be surprised. It was weirdly relaxing this session. I don't know.
Oh,
I think it's because these songs are so short that we were like, we bang it out in like two, three takes, and then it's only been 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
no way.
Like when we do two, three takes and the song's 10 minutes, now it's 30 minutes.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
also, if the song's shorter, it's easier to get a good take because there's less things to mess up. We're still tracking live and stuff,
Yeah.
so that really helps speed things along.
Oh, did you have a lot of like pre-pro before you went in, or was it kind of quite
Yeah, I
organic?
mean, of course. I mean, yeah, we basically write these songs and then we spend months and months fine tuning them and making micro adjustments all the way until when we're in the studio, we're still making adjustments,
Wow.
except for like free improvised songs like New York City, which is obviously just completely born in the studio. Like there's a lot that goes into beforehand so that we don't waste time in the studio.
Mhm. I love the New York City song, man. That's like totally mental. It's the
People love
Yoshi.
that one. It's kind of funny.
It's Yoshiko, right? Is that how you say
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I
Like,
think that's like the reason why people like that song, or at least a lot of the interviewers that I've been meeting with, is that it's the most like it's like a good proportions. The proportions are right. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, yes, the song is obviously the most intense song on the record, but it's only 30 seconds long. You know what I mean? Like, so, okay, fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's like getting into an elevator and then realizing someone's cut the wire.
Yeah, but then you realize that you're only on the first floor.
One thing I have wondered, would you ever tackle any other cities, or is it just New York? Is it always going to be New York?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be like the band that goes like, and the next one's about, Cairo, or
Yeah.
ancient Rome, or like whatever. Like, because the truth is, the reason that we sing about New York, and not obviously not every song is about New York City, but like the general vibe is inspired by New York.
Yeah.
But the reason that we do that is because that's where we're from. And in order to write authentically, you got to know what you're writing about.
Mhm.
And there's nothing easier than writing about where you live and grew up because that's all you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I was gonna like write a song like about London and the pubs and the museums and the parliaments, it would be the worst thing ever because I don't know anything about that shit. I would just be, learning about it. I don't know. It seems very inauthentic. One who lives in London and knows it very well. You don't have to be a city. If you're living in a small town, unless your town was built 10 years ago, like there's probably something you can find about it that will inspire you.
Mhm.
Even if it's not the actual town infrastructure, but it's like the nature surrounding it, like what all the cats in Norway did.
Okay.
Nobody's singing about life in Oslo. That's crazy.
Yeah, okay, fair point. So one other thing I wanted to ask about was Thomas Haake, Dave Lombardo, like amazing guest musicians.
Who?
Wh- what what made you kind of want to go for Thomas Haake, especially because he does that sort of spoken word section.
I'd say that one was funny. I think we didn't even plan to work with him, but we found out when we were in the studio that he was in New York.
Oh, no
So
way.
Kenny was like, "Should I call him up?" I was like, "Yeah, get him over here." And he just swung by and laid it down. It was really organic and really serendipitous, which I think makes even the whole thing more special because I love what he did and
Mhm.
it elevates the songs. And yeah, it's just like I love little stories like this.
Yeah, 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 man. It's totally like it. Yeah, like you said, serendipitous. But I think is it the gold? I've written it down. The gold which crowns this tower pays its respect only to the black. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the line.
So what? I guess does that sort of represent what you were saying about the dark underneath and all that sort of stuff?
See, that's what I like to hear. I want people to, you know, dive into it and come up with their own answers. That's a line I stole from a book by Hugh Ferris that's talking about the American Radiator Building, which is a building in New York that's all black and has gold shit on the top.
Ah,
But that's not what it means. You know what I mean? What it means is what you're talking about. Whatever the listener infers, that's what it really means.
ah,
Imperial Triumphant is we try to keep the meanings of our lyrics to ourselves because I prefer the dialogue. I prefer, people asking questions and making inferences and trying to figure it out or coming to their own solutions. I think that's way more interesting than me just telling you, spoon feeding you, this is what the song's about. This is this song, like,
yeah,
grow up, figure it out. There's no wrong answers.
yeah.
It's all good. Like, as long as you enjoy the music, that's what's important. When I was a kid and I first heard Master of Puppets, I thought it was a song about puppets. So, do you know what I mean? I still love the song.
Yeah.
Gold, which crowns this tower, pays its respect only to the black.
Lexington Delirium, you guys were like in the Chrysler building. That must have been like the best thing ever, right?
You know what, Tristan? I was the best thing ever. It's simply what it was my dream. I've had this dream for 5 years and I worked hard to figure it out. and then I achieved the dream. And it's something that I'm so proud of. It's probably my favorite music video we've ever done. And I don't think any video I do will ever make me as proud as this one.
Yeah, man. I remember when I first saw, because there's a bit of a long intro, and I saw like, walking off and stuff like that. I was like, no fucking way. They're like on the Chrysler building.
Yeah, that tracking shot's nuts.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. What was it like? What was it kind of like filming the video in there? Was there just like nothing around and
It's pretty empty. It's
yeah.
like, it's an office building and there's not much business being done there. But it's, you feel that energy, that old history in there. A lot like medieval England, but shorter time frame, But being up there and the rails are super low and not up to code, and it's just we're up there. And there's people at the one Vanderbilt building up above, like looking down on us and shit is hilarious. Like, it just was like a really, and there was just like lots of little things like that just made it special. Like we're shooting inside and we're rocking out, whatever. And then I had an idea. I was like, we gotta see if we can get the drums outside. And I
Yeah.
was like, the doors don't open that wide, and I was like, fuck, let's see. And the kick drum like just barely fit, and like in my opinion, that's one of the sickest shots. Also, is like when it cuts to Kenny and he's doing the drum fill outside on the fucking face of the Eagles. I mean that's Imperial Triumphant in a nutshell. Is playing on top of the fucking sickest building in the city, rocking out, pure broad daylight. Who cares?
Yeah, absolutely, man. But I guess kind of talking about the daylight and things like that, the artwork I think is incredibly colorful. It's not something that you would necessarily associate with like super heavy metal and stuff like that.
So this is like the vinyl. Like it comes with a cigarette warning, a little tab here you have to cut, like you're opening a fresh pack of death metal. But I really do insist that anyone who's a fan of this band buy the vinyl because the detail
Oh,
is just insane. I mean, it's just crazy the detail. Look, there's a little Statue of Liberty right there, like, and you can just see the amount of fine little penmanship he went into on this thing is crazy. Wanted these like sort of these pale, almost pastel like color palettes. Like it's very sort of old cigarette ads and stuff.
right, okay. One thing I also wanted to ask was, when you wear the masks, what does that kind of what does it do to you? Do you kind of like have this transformation when you put them on?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I put it on, I black out, I become a completely different person, and then when I take the mask off, I remember nothing. It's just a complete sublime moment. It's like, you ever seen the movie The Mask?
Yeah.
It's like that. Except uh instead of like being weird in New York City, I'm being weird in New York City. No,
Amazing.
I don't know, dude. I'm just fucking around. It's definitely like a interesting feeling. You go like this. That's what it feels like. You can't see anything. No peripheral vision.
Mhm.
You can't talk to your bandmates. You have to just fucking roll with it,
Yeah.
and just take on the crowd and do the show. And it does a lot of the work for you. Like I know that I'm pretty much gonna look cool in every photo because it's not my face. It's the same face every time.
Yeah.
And I also it does a lot of the work in the sense where like I can't walk around that much because I got to sing. So I'm just standing there playing and singing, but I know I look cool, which
Yeah.
is isn't that everything? Just looking cool.
I wanted to go quickly back to Dave Lombardo. So what
Oh,
what made you what made you go after Dave Lombardo?
I don't know. We met him a few years ago at a festival, and we spoke
Mhm.
to him again like a couple of years, like a year later.
Yeah.
Super nice guy, and clearly like through his other projects like Dead Cross and Fantomas and Mr. Bungle, like we know he gets it. He understands what we're trying to do, and that's the most important aspect of it. So it just felt like a natural path, and it worked.
What would you say that this record taught you about yourself?
Oh, that I'm in the fucking sickest band in the world.
Oh man, that's the best answer I could have hoped for.
I love my boys, man. I'm really proud of this record. I hope everyone else enjoys it. And, if anyone's watching this, has no idea about my band or anything about our music, this is the record to start with. I'm telling you, this is the gateway record to Imperial Triumphant. I feel very confident about saying that.
100%. Well, it's an absolutely amazing record, dude. And thank you so much for taking the time to appear on the channel.
Dude, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to chat with you.